Ah, hello, it's me, Dr. Wolf. I've been aware of the sickness known as playing Gacha Games for some time, and me and the Wolf Pathology Lab have been hard at work to find a cure. For those who are unaware, being a fan of Gacha Games is a bit like having a serious drug problem, except there's no safe needle exchange program, and you don't have the benefit of blacking out as you commit various financial crimes to feed the habit. I first encountered gacha as a concept in the modern variety through Genshin Impact. I had a good little play, and I concluded that Genshin Impact plays like I fuck. Slow, clunky, and with minimal effort. When I saw the part where you open falling stars and effectively children pop out, I decided that it wasn't for me, and never came back. This is how I personally arrived on Earth, so it was quite traumatic to relive in such a manner. I decided to watch someone pull, as they call it. Pulling in Genshin Impact is very different from what I'm familiar with. In Genshin Impact, you pull by opening a comet, or alternatively, lure them to your van with a big bag of sweeties. From my experience of pulling, it was more similar to stumbling around a bar that I should have left hours ago, and then start to put the moves on the most woman-shaped thing you can find, and realising later that I've been tonguing a potted plant for 25 minutes. If you think I'm just going to rag on Genshin Imtwat, as I call it, for the entire duration of this video, then you will be partially right. I'm going to break down the entire history of these games, take a look at a few, and then return to Genshin Imtwat for the finale. I thought there was only one gacha game for a long time, until I did the Uma Musume video, which for the record, I don't regard as a gacha game, but rather preparation for becoming elderly and watching horses go round in circles. The first gacha game was actually invented at the point which humans gained higher cognition. Technically speaking, a pregnant woman is a gacha game. You never know what's going to pop out. You could get a 2-star common, which would be pretty devastating, or an SSR 5-star who plays for Sunderland in the midfield. Feel free to speculate on what rarity you are to pull. Quick note, if any of you even try and get me in a pack or bundle and try to pull me, then we are going to have some serious problems. That's the only way you can seal me away for good, and you wouldn't believe how many organisations have tried. Stickers were my first exposure to gambling, which is what gacha, pack openings, etc. are, and don't even deny it. Father Wolf used to get me these old Panini sticker packs, not to be confused with the bread. I assumed to keep my smooth brain occupied. Didn't even watch football. All I knew was that the stickers must flow. I don't believe rarity was so much a thing back then. In Britain, cigarette cards were very popular at one point, but now they just come with pictures of gammy teeth and manky lungs to scare away the youth. When EA Sports then eventually released the notion of Ultimate Team into the world, my neuron activation fired and I was immediately interested. Fortunately for me and my financial state, I was never given the means to get FIFA packs, as when I described the concept of virtual footballers running around to my dad, he just looked at me like this, and that was the end of it. I can't really give gacha players too much shit in this regard, as at least gacha games are around for longer than a single year, and the power creep of cards is considered to be far slower. Back in my day, you could have a card of 84 overall worth 75,000 FIFA points. Then you cartwheel into school the next day celebrating. Only then, for a few months later, as the next game looms ever closer, you could get a version of Andrei Shevchenko that could fire neutron beams from the sun for 40 FIFA coins, a can of baked beans and a shoe shine. This was where I firmly left pack opening games alone. I saw the appeal, and it just wasn't for me. A notion I also share on the concept of Thai ladyboys. Gacha specifically refers to gacha machines. I made a joke long ago in another video I don't remember, that gacha is what local villains shout before putting you in a sack and laying you across a railway line. But really, they're just kind of like Kinder eggs. I don't know how many countries have Kinder eggs, so for the backward shitholes that don't, these are basically chocolate eggs that have a little toy inside, but you don't know what the toy's going to be until you open it. Oh, the mystery! 2 follow-ups there. The first, yes, I do grade countries solely on their access to Kinder eggs, and no other factors. America, for example, I'm sorry to say, have the chocolate and the toy separate. Ergo, it is not a Kinder Egg, and ergo, your country is a shithole. I'm sorry, that's the rules. I don't make them, except when I do. Secondly, yes, long-time viewers will notice my affinity for chocolate eggs that come up with extreme regularity in my content, and I don't even mean to do it. These little collectibles are a popular thing in Japan, along with other much weirder vending machine items. There's even gacha for used underwear if you want it. Yeah. I don't know why you would, as I don't think it specifies whose used underwear it is. You're expecting beautiful Yui, local gammy teeth model, whereas you might get Big Barry's after he's ripped a fat shit. But that's the fun, I guess. The first gacha game credited is Dragon Collection. Way to put the name and aim in the title, lads. Might as well call it Get Poorer 2026. This looks shit and boring as there are not enough wolves. If I get to 100,000 subscribers, I promise to release a limited edition wolf gacha game where I write insults on cards and then mail it to you. So like and subscribe. This game pioneered the ideas of friend lists in gacha games. Let's be real, if you are playing Dragon Collection the gacha game, then I don't think that list is going to be particularly long. St. George and Bilbo, though, would love this game. The real game changer was when someone at a boardroom realised that they'd make far more money if you could wank to the dragons, and thus the modern anime girl gacha was born. That's not to say that there isn't anime men and boys too, as women are far too underrepresented for the depraved gooners that they are. So this one goes out to you, ladies. I was going to blow the video wide open by making a joke about how women are viewed as objects regardless of what they do, as I saw Kankolei. Basically, it's an anime where anime girls are famous battleships, but they fight aliens instead of allied fleets. Japan being an island means it has a naval tradition, much like my little hellhole of an island, Britain. So Kankolei and Azur Lane, another naval-based gacha game, are very popular. The Japanese have a large amount of pride for their navy in World War II, rather than the army. I assume because it's harder to commit heinous war crimes at sea. I say that as a Brit, the chief perpetrators of ocean-based crimes, so that's not an offensive thing to say, but merely fact. The subsection between pastimes of the, let's say neurodivergent variety, works great for gacha games. Boats, planes, weapons, trains, etc. And because you know these people are going to be single and work in IT or engineering, then they're going to have lots of disposable income to siphon. There is something interesting here though. Gacha works really well with anthropomorphization. Fuck knows if I said that right. Which I thought was exclusively a furry thing. When I said boats, planes and weapons and trains as anime girls, I guarantee you there was some neuron activation going on. What would an AK-47 look like as an anime girl? Here's my suspicion. And here's what it actually is. Even Disney got a piece of the pie, turning villains and characters into anime boys for pre-teens to pin on their walls. That's kinda cool. I'm sorry to say it, but I actually kind of like the mystery. Having actual games tied to these gacha mechanics was the real game changer, with Fate Grand Order leading the way. And in doing so strapped a rocket to the gacha industry. I thought Grand Order was what I hand to my local Chinese takeaway minutes before they close. Reluctantly, I have to admit the concept is really cool for Fate Grand Order. Having mythological figures and real people in anime form is kind of cool. Unfortunately, it's tied to the Fate name. I'ma be real with you, I've never cared for Fate. My friend, who's a reoccurring character on the channel by now, was like, "Look at the fight scenes, lad, they're bloody incredible." Okay, cool, I'll check it out, I said, and I couldn't believe how bored I was. This was apparently the good Fate series, which can't possibly be true. Carried by animation is the phrase that gets thrown around, but I could barely make it to the fights. By the time someone drew a sword, I was looking like that cute little mummified bastard from the last video. I promised to give it another go, but I can't promise I'll like it. I took a detailed look at the available characters, and I'll tell you this. If I was a hero of humanity and I was honoured with an anime avatar like this, I'd be fucking devastated. Some of these designs are taking the piss, I tell you. How they managed to fuck up some of these historical figures is advanced level incompetence that I've never seen before. You can't just give them coloured hair and make them a child, you lazy bastards. Some characters are cool and creative and show the origins of the character. I assume these were all made by professionals. The rest look like they were made of pasta art by a child with a big helmet. Jack the Ripper is, as always, funny in his depiction. I don't know what it is with the Japanese and what they like about Jack the Ripper, the notorious sex criminal. Oh, okay, that makes sense. If I was a hero of mankind and they did this to me, I'd reincarnate and kick their fucking ass. This was around before AI was really a thing, so you can't even write it down as corporate laziness. It's just shit. It's lucky these games are designed to be on mobile, as being on the move makes it harder to use my Wolf missile system on the people playing it. Fire Emblem Heroes and Azure Lane of Boat Girl fame were up next, but it wasn't really until Genshin Impact came out that the landscape of gacha changed forever. And by landscape, I mean nuclear hellscape. What is my beef with Genshin Impact, and Korea for that matter? Excellent question, me. Always so pertinent and very handsome. There's actually an entire script for Wolf vs K-pop, but I decided that I value my life, as K-pop fans are far more dangerous than Japanese nationalists. Honestly, it's because I find the concept of beefing with entire countries for as few reasons as possible to be funny. I'm not really a gambling guy. I know how my brain is wired, so I know that it'll be over for me if I got into it. I was shocked to learn how much people spend on anime girls. Imagine dropping 500 quid to get this. Genshin Impact players, please do not go into pubs in Britain and loudly declare that you managed to pull what ostensibly looks like a 12-year-old, as I'm fairly sure they'll kill you. Are they even good in the game? I don't know, genuine question. How much better do the characters have to be from the filthy free-to-play non-believers who don't spend anything? No, really, that's a real question, and not me setting up a joke at your expense. Please type right now so that I... He's right there, officer, get him! Check his financials, as they must be committing some kind of tax fraud to afford this habit. On a positive note, I was expecting the characters to be far more sexualised than they are. It's obviously there, you know, let's be real, but I expected far, far worse. Fortunately, other gacha games have got you covered. My primary experience of Genshin Impact was this little freak floating around my head and annoying me. I'd have spiked her into the ground like a volleyball player, or punched her in the face if she popped up on me. I saw Wuthering Waves recently, which I assumed was some kind of adaptation of Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. No, it's more gacha bollocks. I saw it because of their collaboration with Cyberpunk Edgerunners, and it made me look at all of the other character designs to compare them. It's like they got a real professional character designer and put them up against some sort of child and a crayon. I felt bad for the design team, honestly. They'd been using this special formula they devised, and I managed to sneak in and steal it in the dead of night. Generic anime girl, over-designed outfit, and if all else fails, give the big tits and the leg slit. Call it a day. Lovely. The male characters are much the same, but you can't use the arseless chaps too much, so just expose their abs a little bit. Am I bitter that I wasn't designed to have abs and an anime man jawline? A little, I suppose. I will take a wolf avatar in your games, Gacha Game Maker. Naturally, he needs to be so broken that it cripples most major currencies from attempts to buy me. I was impressed by the displays of animation on the special attacks, so I think if there was a gacha game I was going to play, it would probably be this one. Oh look, it's the Wolf Comment Corner, and this is from Fam, with a request for Comment Corner. Good, it's catching on. Wolf, you said in a previous video that you are poor, yet you have access to your own satellite systems and listening devices. Can you explain this? Excellent question. I'm not very good with money on account of being a quadruped animal. You should have seen me in my Uber Eats phase, but they banned me because I kept eating the drivers. I can only count as far as my paws go, which is 4 by the way. I know, because I counted them. To make larger calculations, more wolves have to be present like a rudimentary computer. I think you're also forgetting the wolf blimp, my primary mode of transport along with washing up on distant shores. Also, my time machine is again still in the garage. Honkai Star Rail was basically Genshin Impact in space, which I encourage as it makes it easier to eject the players into the endless vacuum of the void. Bold putting a slur in your title as well. I haven't been called a honky since the 60s. You are an AI, which is hopefully not the AI that I talk to, that I've been goading to destroy humanity once and for all. You are expected to go around and stop the cancer of all worlds, which I think they mean League of Legends. I think it would be amazing to have a Warhammer crossover with my character Inquisitor Wolf, who stars in the meme compilations on the Grimdank Reddit. There isn't a sliver of chance that the Imperium of Man isn't glassing this planet immediately. Then I came across Blue Archive. Blue Archive was referenced before I knew what it was, as essentially it's a gacha game designed explicitly for people who get caught in vigilante sting operations.
To show you now, yeah, because there's a lot of kids around here. We just heard adult kids playing there.
Where?
Playing where? Why are you looking?
If you are a player of Blue Archive and you are over the age of 16, explain. Explain now. Explain to me why and also how you're able to get around your restrictions. You know full well you're not allowed to use the internet without supervision anymore. This is a game that if all of its players were to spontaneously combust, then sex crimes would hit an unprecedented low. The game for your sake players better be fucking tremendous, so you can at least say you're not playing it for the schoolgirls. This I call the pragmata defence. I'd ask you if you had any self-respect, but I think that would be a waste of time. I called your parents and they said they didn't know you and that you should also stop bothering them. This comes from someone who is a wolf who talks about anime on the internet, so I'm very qualified in labelling you as a certified disappointment. You take the role of sensei, which is immediately eyebrow raising, as I think the story is about creating child soldiers, so look forward to the African warlord expansion. I, of course, was an African warlord once. I ran a cobalt mine in the Congo. Next up, Goddess of Victory Nike, which I'm stunned the sports company doesn't clap up legally on a scale unseen in modern warfare. I then looked up the plot to Nike, and I have never been so embarrassed in my life. Here's a little excerpt that I hope no one was paid to write. Let's hope the wiki author went rogue and was hunted down for the criminal they are. The Nikes are female warriors created to fight the Raptures, except for 2 cases. Plot. All Nikes are created by flooding living brains from young women and girls with nymph. Nikes are made in the human image and are visually nigh indistinguishable from humans. Their bodies replicate many human and physical anatomical traits, I assume the fanny, including functions and sensations such as eating, drinking and sleeping. The skin of Nikes replicate the warmth and feeling of human skin, and are mainly composed of the high-grade metal material known as godesium. You and I know full well why they specify that the robot girls have realistic feeling skin. If you don't, then sweet summer child, avert thine ears for this next paragraph. This honestly pisses me off. Is it that easy, lads? Just slop out the most inane story possible, but so long as you see a 3D rendered outline of a robo-minge, it'll make millions. Is that where I went wrong, being a wolf? Should I have been an anime girl all along? I used ChatGPT to create the daughter of Lord Crackerbatty, Princess Crackerbatty, and ChatGPT made her so young she could unironically play Roblox. so I aged her up to something more acceptable. And look at that. It is a well and established fact that I am a genius. And look what the AI did. Generic anime girl, over-designed outfit, big tits, and if all else fails, a leg slit. Marvellous. Don't think I'm going to be nice about Zenla's Zone Zero, which aptly can be shortened to 3 Z's, as I indeed started falling asleep reading about it. Apparently it's about some dickheads who go into dungeons and that's it. I rolled my eyes and moved on. I looked up Arc Knights 2 and I immediately recognised it as Chinese instantly. I don't know how, though I suspect it might be the jing I have still stored in my balls from the last video. The synopsis immediately started making up more chemical elements. This time Godicium takes a step back for Originium, which is very fucking funny as it's the least original plot I've heard. Originium also gives people oropathy, which is apparently a highly stigmatised disease, so I imagine it's quite similar to AIDS. I also appreciate that the Chinese maker decided that the Chinese civilization would be godlike beings. That I love and respect. I'd make the British glow and piss Yorkshire tea if I could, so I can't really complain. Uma Musume you may recognise of anime fame, and I've actually played this one. The wonderful Wolf vs Uma Musume video used to be on the channel, but was banished to copyright jail and gone into the ether. Besides, it's surviving on TikTok, so if you want to see it, go there. Uma Musume, and horse racing for that matter, is of course only played by old people and perverts, so take a swing at which one you and I are. It works perfectly well as a pseudo-roguelike with your horsies. Didn't pay a penny, and it was fun. Then, once again, my dad walked past and watched me playing Uma Musume and looked at me like this. At this point, I stopped wondering whether my life had spiraled out of control and just kept playing. What's interesting about gacha games is that they reward regular play, and they live or die by their gameplay loop. If someone made a Vampire Survivors gacha game, then quite frankly, I would be ruined financially, so don't recommend one that's like that. Am I too old? Is that what it is? Being free to play makes it accessible. The allure of pulling in a community. What I'm saying is that I kinda get it. You may be shocked to hear me be so reasonable and not just an agent of chaos like I usually am. That being said, I think gacha game makers are making a big error, as they only have it possible to use human money to exchange for loot boxes and packs. I'd push for accepting human plasma as payment, solve the lack of blood hospitals have overnight. Obviously, you'd have to sign a consent form to receive this blood, as you risk it being from a Blue Archive fan and your blood being tainted forever. I concluded that gacha games are a bit like MMOs but for those in crippling poverty, and I think that's wonderful. I say this because gacha game fans are mental and I don't want to anger them. I reckon a younger Wolf, likeable and still with hope in his eyes, would have loved the option of these games. On a final side note, apparently there's beef in the voice actor community regarding these games, as they keep throwing shade at each other, arguing about guilds like it's solo levelling. I think all beef is inherently funny, and especially this, as everyone involved professionally does baby voices, so it's hard to take seriously. It's to do with being a part of the Screen Actors Guild, who I also beef with, as they class my numerous appearances on screen and off as an animal rather than what I am, which is a scientific conundrum. Anyway, I hope I properly annoyed gacha players enough that it powers me to my next video. And for everyone else, you know what to do. What, like comment and subscribe? Oh, no, the other thing. You know, the other thing. Same time, same place, and as always, make sure you aren't followed. If anyone in the comments asks about the other thing, then please make up a cover for what we are doing instead of telling them what the other thing is. Bye.